Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Monday. I have done some research on the developing story for the Hendrick Motorsports number 48 disqualification after the Charlotte Roval race. I took some time to look some things over today while I was at work on lunch on my break. I do want to clarify there was something that I said yesterday in my video that was wrong. I had initially spoke about the weight issue and then I transferred it to a track bar issue. I don't know why exactly I did that, but the main point was if it passed in pre-race, how does it fail post-race? And that main point was still kind of the issue. Two things. One, there was some clarification as to what actually happened, and then two, Hendrick Motorsports decides that they are not going to appeal the disqualification, which I don't know why you wouldn't try to appeal it, because you kind of got nothing to lose, especially if you want all four of your cars to advance to the round of 8. So I had read from Bob Cockris and some others on Twitter that not only did it fail once, twice, 3, but actually 4 times going through the post-race inspection. They failed the first time, and then it failed a second time. NASCAR gave them the opportunity to fill it with gas, purge any water and oil systems, and then it went through a 4th time and still failed. I did not know that NASCAR did this. I was not aware that they give NASCAR themselves said that they give the teams every single opportunity to pass post race when it comes to weight, and that is evenly distributed through every single car, which is good. And I also think that NASCAR did a very good job of explaining that after the race, instead of just saying that Bowman had not met the minimum weight requirement. They went and explained what had happened. There was a lot of speculation that he could have lost some car parts going through that small inner loop coming right by the line. That could have been a possibility. The only thing that would have explained a dip in weight that much is if it was a tungsten bar from like the chassis rails, but that also kind of doesn't really make sense because there was no damage found to the chassis to my knowledge. So the statement from Hendrick Motorsports reads as follows. Hendrick Motorsports will not appeal the disqualification of the number 48 car following Sunday's race at Charlotte Roval. NASCAR allows a clear margin to account for difference in pre- and post-race weight. That comes out to 0.5% or about 17 pounds. After a thorough review by our team and the sanctioning body, we simply did not give ourselves enough margin to meet the post-race requirement. Although unintentional, the infraction was avoidable. We are extremely disappointed to lose a playoff spot under these circumstances and apologize to our fans and partners. See, this is the other part of this, is that if you give any teams any sort of wiggle room whatsoever, they're gonna try to exploit it and abuse it, right? I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. That's kind of the basis of NASCAR. That's kind of how it started, right? So, I still can't understand how they would pass pre-race and then not post-race for a couple of reasons. One, if you fuel the car and purge all the fluid systems, you also have the weight of rubber buildup on the chassis and suspension components and some other stuff. So I'm kind of curious as to how that plays a factor. I would be curious as to what teams are going to do about this in the future when it comes to road courses, because I can't remember the last time a car was disqualified for not meeting minimum weight at a speedway or intermediate track or short track for that matter. But yeah, I'm wondering if something did get punched out when he went through that small inner loop and was hitting the rumble strips. Because I believe it was the 38 car on board that caught it. He caught some air, and right before his car hit the ground, something flew out from under his car. But unless it's a tungsten weight, I don't see anything coming off that car that would weigh enough, really. And then on the Dirty Mo Media podcast, the Spotters podcast, they had spoken about how if you're giving the teams 17 pounds, they're using up 16, right? So, yeah, I'm still shocked that a car in an elimination race would actually get pinched for this. I mean, good on NASCAR for being black and white. Good on them for explaining it in detail. But yeah, in an elimination race is the shock for me. I would have expected to see this at perhaps Talladega with how many cars got torn up. I would have expected to see this on maybe a short track just because cars tend to get torn up. I didn't really think that the 48 car was that torn up after the race, but I mean maybe they did lose some other things on the car and it just wasn't very evident because I feel like if they would have appealed it, they would have appealed it on the basis that an obvious contributor is to something coming off of the car, and they would have been able to prove that in the appeals process. So, again, I still would have expected him to at least appeal it on the basis of you got nothing to lose, so why not try it? But that is the current news situation coming out of NASCAR. And on to next week. So I will be here Sunday night to give my thoughts on that race and yeah, any other news sports related, football, baseball, hockey related, anything you guys want to discuss, drop it in the comments, or anything NASCAR related again in the comments, or anything completely unrelated. I would like the talking head videos to kind of be about anything. So yeah, you guys take care of yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one.